they had really good dairy cows. So he's up there, and all they did is brag about their dairy cows, because he had beef cows. All the dairy, how much better dairy cows were, and he says, "Well, that's nothing. I got a bull that can outrun a train." And he says every day that train goes across that pasture on those train tracks, and that bull will run from one end to the other of that train before it ever gets out of my property. And they said, "I don't believe that." He said, "It's true. It's true." Well, he says, "You know what? It just so happens," this guy's from Arkansas, "I'm going to be in Arkansas next week, and I want to see that bull." And the guy said, "That's just fine. Here's my address and phone number." So sure enough, the guy calls him and says, "I'm down the road, and I want to see that bull." And he says, "Okay." And he pulls into the ranch. And of course, it's a really long drive, cow ranch. He can't find the guy anywhere. And he finds one of the helpers. He says, "Hey, I'm here to see Mr. So-and-so because I want to see this bull." "Well, he's not here." "He's not here. I just talked to him. He's in New York City." "Well, what's he doing in New York?" He rode the bull. So, wait. You ready? Can you go get my joke book? I left it in my office. My joke book or junk book. Oh, that's right. You deserve more than that. He rode the bull. I have to give credit where credit's due. That's Jack's joke, and I can't believe I remembered it and told it right. I didn't know if I told it right, but we got to where we were going. Yes, sir. All right, I gotta retell them because some of you didn't hear. Chuck just lost a bunch of chickens this week. He was getting into the chicken business, and $50,000 gone. And he said he didn't realize he had planted them too deep, too far apart. So it's not mine. All right, let's laugh some more. It's good for us. I can't remember if I told some of these, but pastor's wife took her overworked husband to the family physician. Did I tell that one? No? Is it not working? Hey, Brian, are y'all's working? Can you hear? It's just yours, Betty. Is it turned on? Or the battery? I want it to get it to work. She's near and dear to my heart. I want her to. It's important that she hear her son-in-law. See if you can hear me. Test. Okay. I guess he just needed to shake it a little bit. All right. So the pastor's wife took her overworked husband to a family physician. The physician took the wife aside and said, "I don't like the way your husband looks." She says, "I don't either, but he's such a good provider." Oh. A married couple was celebrating their 50th anniversary in the church social, in the fellowship hall. The wife was smiling, but the husband had tears in his eyes. The wife asked the husband why he was crying. The husband replied, 50 years ago today, your daddy put a shotgun to my head. Instead, if I didn't marry you, he'd put me in jail for the next 50 years. And if I'd listened to him, I'd be a free man tomorrow. That was worth the 99 cents I paid for it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it's either that or get something right here for you to do it. Yeah. No, not the little monkey. But it's funny now that you said it. Okay. A man, and it's just the office. So the office, a office. A man and a woman who were friends for many years died and went to heaven. They told St. Peter they wanted to get married. He said, take your time and think about it. You have an eternity to think about it here. Come back and talk to me in another 50 years. 50 years later, the couple returned, and again St. Peter told St. Peter that they wanted to get married. He said, take your time and think about it. Come back and see me in another 50 years, and if we don't have a preacher up here by then, I'll marry you. So, all right. Not bad, not bad. This was an exceptionally good night for laughter. Shirts are over here, I remembered. So don't forget, if you're looking for a shirt, and Primetimers is going to have their own shirt now. So that's nice. That's good. That's really nice. Who? VBS, of course, absolutely. I was wearing my VBS shirt from last year, the other day. It's going to be Egyptian cotton, the VBS shirts, because I don't let anything but fine cotton touch. All right. Finance committee meeting is this Sunday. Next Wednesday is potluck. Seems like we just did that. It's on our anniversary. Isn't that sweet? It is. Thank you. Well, that's so nice of you guys. 36 years. 37. But it only seems like 36. That's your anniversary present right there. Oh, me. It's hard to believe. 37 years and moved 19 times. And we're still married. That's impressive. Father's Day, children's dedication. You should have gotten a message from me yesterday. We've got a lot of families investing with children. This would be a great opportunity to say, hey, you can participate. And so if we can get the word out, but we got to get the word back to us quickly. And if we get it late, I know we won't get the blankets done in time. We'll just have an IOU kind of a scenario. Okay. All right, collection for Samaritan Purse is ongoing. That's fine. The giving app there you can see, that makes it easy if you want to give online, and then the church directory. Oh, I am getting there, yes. Vacation Bible School, 23rd through 26th. Lord's Supper, the last Sunday of the month, deacons. And then our renewing campaign is still moving forward there, and there's the current balance, or what we've raised this second phase. All right. Any announcements I missed? Anybody? Okay. No, I did not. That was the other announcement I was thinking of. You need to get that from her. Father's Day, the ladies are cooking us breakfast this time. What? You don't have to have a man to cook me breakfast. Lordy. Our expectations today. But yeah, so you run that announcement make sure that it says what you're supposed to say, the time and everything. But so thank you all for doing that. Looking forward to it. Anything else? Anyone else? All right, let's finish up Psalm 23, verse 3, and jump into verse 4 today. We won't finish it completely. Last week, we were at the very end of 23, of 23, verse 3, and He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, brings honor to His name. That's the New Living. The ESV, as He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness. That's for His name's sake, which is what we're more accustomed to hearing. And we didn't get a chance to touch on that, for His name's sake. Whether you realize it or not, all of us have a hyphen in our names. And it's God. So whatever your name is, hyphen, God. Because we are family, part of His family. He counts us as children, real children. And there is an element of that David speaks to for His name's sake. He's doing things for us because we're family. There's an expectation. He has obligated Himself to us. That's kind of exceptional for a deity. Usually, a lot of the world's deities, it's a one-way relationship. But for God, there is a kinship here. But there's also an expectation for us to live in such a way to honor the relationship, to bring honor to His name, to make God proud by how we keep the legacy of His name in the way that we live. So it's about God's reputation in part also. His name represents His character. So as you do studies that unfold the character of God, you are in fact talking about God's reputation. And His reputation, He will uphold His reputation. And like a shepherd's honor depends on the condition of his flock, our lives reflect the shepherd to the world. One of the things I enjoy when I would travel is you would visit these very ornate churches in other countries. Very ornate, because they're 1,000 years old. That's how they built them back then. So you don't really find those churches anymore. It costs too much. But that was by design. And even for them at that time, it was not an inexpensive endeavor. What do you think the point of all that was? When you see these quaint little villages and there's this giant steeple that rises out from the middle of it, what do you think they're trying to project? Yeah, this is God's space. This is unlike any other building that you will ever go in. And it should be different. And you should be different in the way that you live. There should be things about us that honor God, that sets us apart and says, there's something different about that kind of person. In a good way, different, not weird. I think there's a distinction that some miss. God leads and restores, not because we've earned it, but because His name is faithful and it's good and it's true. So, now, that's verse 3. Verse 4, you should have gotten the Bible. You should have gotten those. Everybody got one? So let's look at the 3 verses. Everybody get them? Okay. You didn't? Thanks, Rita. All right. Well, we've entered the valley. This is the tough part of the psalm. But it's actually still a very positive part of the psalm, but it's the one that we can remember. Walking through the valley. Psalm 23, verse 4. I'll read it in those three translations, New Living, English Standard Version, and the Message. The Message is not a translation. It's a what? To paraphrase. Just remember that. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Very practical. And the next one, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me. And then the Message. Even when the way goes through Death Valley, I'm not afraid when you walk at my side. Your trusty shepherd's crook makes me feel secure. I'm not sure that the Message captures it as well. But the declaration here is that of God's intimate personal care as our shepherd. In verse 4, that's the Psalm 23, but verse 4 shifts from green pastures and still waters to dark valleys. The places of fear, the place of uncertainty. It's the place of danger. Yet, what rings true here is that David's confidence is unshaken. Now, it's easy to be confident when you're with the green pastures and the slow-flowing brook. But what about the times that you're in a dark valley? How's your confidence? Where is your level of confidence in your relationship with God? I think we could all confess that sometimes it's not where it should be. Because we're so prone to think that our eyes reveal reality. And it doesn't. Our eyes give us the ability to see, but our eyes do not reveal everything that can be seen and experienced. In fact, the stuff that we can't see and experience is more real than the stuff you can see and experience. Because all of this is going to go away one day. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. So, let's break down the verse. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I can remember this like it was yesterday. So, in seminary, I took several more semesters of language than was required because I just really liked it. It was really interesting. Hebrew was especially interesting because it's such a poetic language. The English is incapable of capturing what is written in Hebrew. You can't do it. It's impossible. Well, I don't know if it's impossible, but none of these translations do it very well. And I'll give you an example. When it talks about valley, it's talking about a deep ravine or gorge. It's almost like something you fall in, you can't get out but go through it. You know, those little rocky, sandy sides. But it's a place of fear, is what David is trying to convey. It's a place of, it's often dark. It's often overshadowed. So it symbolizes a place of real danger or perceived danger. Not everything that we call dangerous is actually danger. And then that shadow of death literally means deepest, darkest death. That's what it means. Deepest, darkest place. I don't want to trigger anything, but if you can think of a time in your life, if it's right now, well, I'm sorry. We'll pray for you. But a place where you just don't know or didn't know where the light was, if it was ever going to shine again. It didn't seem possible. Maybe a diagnosis. Maybe something broke in a relationship or a family or child. Job, money, homes, all these things where you just say to yourself, I can't fall any further. And that's what David's describing. That's it. And you know, I think David's probably been there. In fact, he's put himself there quite a few times. And what he is saying is that even though I walk through the deepest ravine or the deepest, darkest places, I'm going to fear no evil. And David didn't say if it was his fault or not. If it was our fault or not that, that we're there, that's a grace thing. We can see through these lenses of grace. Listen, if we expected God to relate to us based on the expectation of merit, no matter how good you think you are, you just wouldn't get it. So he doesn't do that anymore. He does it through the lenses of the cross. And because he looks at us through Christ, all he sees is something he wants to love. Even when we put ourselves in bad ways. Listen, darkness is a part of every believer's journey. Loss, depression, sickness, doubt, betrayal. But you need to remember what David says. These are passageways. These are not destinations. These are not permanent homes. But they are expectations that you will experience it. If there's anything that I can do to help keep you centered in your faith, is to not lead you astray and think that everything is cotton candy and peanuts as a child of God, because it's just not. We're not immune from these difficulties. It doesn't matter how they get into our lives. It doesn't matter how they come across our paths. Our fault, someone else's fault, nobody's fault that's going to happen. And what David is saying is, it's a journey through there. But we need to be careful we don't camp out there too, right? Sometimes we just want to throw up our arms and say, forget it, who cares? It's a real danger. That's why this here is important, but we'll touch on that next week. That's one of the values of church. That's one of the reasons we come together. I will fear no evil. What that's signifying is anything harmful. So David's saying, I'm not going to fear anything harmful, dangerous, or that is morally threatening to me. David's really come through a lot. He's matured to be able to say this. Because you remember, he wasn't the best representative of Israel. Had his best friend killed so he could steal his wife. It's not like he didn't have any wives already. He just wanted that one. Seduction. It's not about a physical thing. It's a problem in the world. It will seduce you any way it can. It will make you think that what you don't have, you should really want. And what you should really want, though, is hardly ever what God wants to give you. David doesn't deny that evil exists. He chooses to trust God's presence over his fear. So choosing faith is not the same as being fearless. It means trusting God's power that is greater than any threat. Now, on the back of your sheet, I wanted to look at a few of the insights. And then we'll finish them up, the rest of it next week. Remember, walk at God's pace. Don't rush ahead of Him. God has built into our spiritual and physical DNA a pace that is ideal and designed for us to live best in. I didn't want to leave a hanging preposition. Best in. But there's a pace. When I used to have pretty good knees and I could run the physical fitness test with the Navy, we used to do it twice a year. We only do it once now. But I would find my pace, and it just felt good. I knew I was doing it just felt good. My breathing was good, no cramping. You just know. But that was my pace. And if there was 100 of us running, hardly any of us were running side by side. Why is that? That's my pace. And the 99 behind me, that's their pace. You don't know. God has that built into you. Find that pace. Don't look at what Reverend so-and-so was doing, Dr. so-and-so was doing, Mrs. so-and-so with all her lessons. You don't worry about any of that. You find your pace, and you'll be happy. It'll feel right. Because that's what God's built into your DNA, your spiritual DNA. And then trade fear for faith by trusting God's presence. God is with us through it all. Find His presence in everything. And when I say everything, I mean in everything, find His presence. I was talking with someone today, a believer, difficult moment in their life, and they ended the email with, I still find God's goodness in the midst. Isn't that something to say? I still find God's goodness in the midst of what I'm going through. Now you're not being sadistic and saying, well, I like where I am. It has nothing to do with it. You're just saying that because God's there with you, you're pacing out of it. We'll finish the rest of it next week. So, Rita, we'll just have to print a few more. Everybody remember to bring your copy next week. All right, let's take a look at the prayer sheet.